Hello and welcome back to the Tesseract server. I'm trying to actually make up the video of the tour that I keep promising. We're just on the rail line which leads to my house. This is an extra connection. It connects to the yellow line down there, and I'm still finishing off the decoration of it, so that's where I've just been mining stone from. I'm not planning on showing you the entire length of this unless I end up talking for that long at this point, as it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to actually cross the distance. We're near the space pad, but as that's being built again at the moment, I'm not going to look in that direction too far, as I don't want to spoil it in case that's something that's not supposed to be on video. So this crosses over quite a lot of different biomes, and so you get an awful lot of different weathers along here as well, and during the day it's quite nice, but I've been waiting yet again for a rainstorm to stop and figured just set off. I'm still needing more glowstone to finish this, but once the glowstone's all in, there's patches of it all along, then this project is done. I'm not planning on actually putting anything else up here because it's trying to be as unobtrusive as it can in the sky, which is why it heads underground back there. It's because it's rather near the space pad in order to connect to the main network of rails. So I've done some terraforming, hidden the tunnel, and so it's not actually in the way. Sorry about the jump cut, just needed to have a quick drink. I'm planning on actually adding some buildings down here under the track, as this is, I'm pretty much claiming anything that's under the track at the moment, unless it's near the space pad. In that direction I won't claim, but in this direction I am claiming, so that I can do things. I've got quite a few ideas of things I'd like to construct, different ruins and things, and so I'm hoping to get on with those. But around the base of the track there is the little station that I am planning on actually adding a proper entrance to. At the moment you just enter and exit where the tracks do. I've got my village on that side. At some point it should appear if the land loads in time. And then on this side we've got a sheep farm which is currently under construction, so from the top it looks hideous, but that will... oh yes, apparently the village isn't loading. Fraps is obviously slowing everything down. As you can just see there, there's my open roofed sheep farm at the moment. So hopefully this will be finished soon. I've been collecting all the cobble I need and the sand in order to complete construction of the sheep farm. I just decided to extend each pen exactly its size again. See if I can successfully get in the door. So the pens were this size, then I'm going to knock out this middle wall and the pen will span both of these. I'll quickly show you one that's completed. The roof has been extended as well, and so I can have a lot more sheep in here. I have an upcoming project that requires an awful lot of sheep, which will eventually get started on, but I've got to finish this one first. This was coming along, but then the Feed the Beast server started, and so I didn't actually continue working on this. I'm hoping now that the novelty of having a new server to play with has worn off, that I will actually get on with the work on this server again soon, and so there should be more videos coming out from both servers and some interesting projects coming out of this one. The location for the train station was deliberately chosen so that it's central to everything I've currently been doing. So you've got the sheep farm on one side of you. There will be some decoration above it, but I haven't decided what yet, so that creates a more interesting view there. You can see the floating tesseract of the village as well as my house, which is the one on the overhang, at all times. And you can also see my mining shack. This started off as a tiny little netherrack building, with the idea just being that it was a holdover until that got constructed. Both are still in use depending on what I'm up to at the moment, and eventually I will actually mess with the terraforming between the two here to make things more interesting. I've kept the flaming border that I had on the original Tesseract building. It keeps mobs out. You can often hear them dying when you're inside. It's known as the mining shack because it's next to the mine, which has a nice safe drop. As long as you hit the water, you're fine, as the water is 3 blocks deep, which I did because there's the occasional problem when things get updated that 2 blocks deep might kill you. And then you can either swim up or take the ladder which is behind the water up. I like to swim up because my respiration helm gives me just enough air to make it up, and then I can end a pearl in whichever direction I choose. Again, for mob protection, I went for an underwater entrance to the mining shack and therefore kept it when I renovated the building. Originally it was literally up to about here and here in here, so when I extended it I kept the floor pattern I had come up with for the original, and then came up with another combination of blocks to work on it. I'm thinking of swapping the snow out for quartz once we've updated and have access to that, or swapping the stone slabs out and tweaking the snow. Not quite sure, but my original design I wanted was a really pretty dirt hut. Unfortunately Enderman can steal that, and then I thought about clay, but Enderman can steal that as well. Seems every block I decide I want to build with is not actually useful if you've got a problem with Enderman. I had built this out of dirt before I remembered, and the Enderman stole my windowsill. So this isn't much, but it's enough for when I'm running around. I've got a mine down there. I've got my access to the nether here, which we're going to go through to get up to the village. The village is currently set up for breeding purposes, and so there's the odd little stop to prevent the villagers from escaping and changing the numbers, because I don't want to end up with a room absolutely full of them and cause a load of lag on the server, as my system definitely won't be able to handle it. So I've blocked off the bridge and the hospital for the moment so that I can make sure the directions are safe and keep them in a smaller area for the purpose of breeding for the moment. I've had to increase the number of fences around the village because when I designed it with keeping monsters out in mind, I unfortunately forgot that I'd eventually have to be keeping people in. They have a brilliant ability to find every exit that there is left in this village and then escape, leaving me with quite a bit of trouble trying to get them all back in. So I will soon be removing the breeding cell. They're both breeding cells. This one contains a lot less doors though. This was the original one. That one has nothing but doors inside it, but I'm quite happy with the villagers I've received, so I'm going to stick probably with this number, and if they happen to decide they want to breed a bit more once I open up the rest of the village, then that's fine. If they decide they don't want to, that's also fine. They love jumping into the fountain, which normally wouldn't be a problem, but there's fire in the fountain, so I'm going to have to come up with some way of preventing that. I did have fences, but the fire is able to burn them down, so I'm probably going to have to get nether brick fences to go around here in order to stop that. With the new update, that isn't as big a problem as it was. I'm hoping to actually come up with something to use up more of this space. I'm not quite sure what, but it definitely needs doing. I'm not a fan of open plan living at all, so this is quite unusual for me, but it serves its purpose for the moment. As you can see, that's what the sheep farm is currently looking like, so it will extend on both sides. This just, I decided to start with the base colours for the moment. As you can see, I'm slowly increasing the amount of fence along the bridge. Once that's completed and I've made sure this area is fenced up correctly, I will open up for the villagers, but they have an amazing habit of not realising that it's suicidal to walk off the edge. I added the border mainly just to stop me from accidentally walking across, but they seem to love jumping up and then walking off. So I need to increase as much fence as I can to prevent that before I open things up. There will be a similar bridge connecting these two bits of land, which again will be properly fenced up. I'm slowly increasing the area of land. I'm going to increase it on the other side a bit more, so the template houses that I put on there will end up moving, which is why I haven't actually developed that area any further since I put the original fence up, as I'm working on increasing the available land but trying to make it look a little bit more natural in the process. My bakery and grocery shop both have little farms underneath them. The bakery only has wheat underneath it because the sugarcane comes from the bookstore, so I decided just to only have one source of each item in the village, but the bakery does sell everything required. The cobblestone won't still be in here once I've finished with the village, but there are odd ingredients everywhere at the moment while I'm working on it. There's a very small yield of crop in the grocery shop. Fortunately, the village doesn't actually need much, so they get on just fine with that, although I do keep stealing their supplies every time I run out of potatoes. So eventually this will be a lot bigger. There will be a couple of houses up next to the hospital as well. Either that or I'm going to turn it into a proper little garden. I'm not 100% certain on what I'm doing there, but the project should be finished quite soon, as both this and the sheep farm are the current priorities of projects. My project that I did a little demonstration of in the previous video, I'm thinking of putting over by the witch farm I have. I'm not going to show that on this video, as right now it's just a monstrosity of a building surrounding the hut, of which there's nothing left but the original floor. I'm working on digging out everything under it at the moment in order to light it all up, so it's not actually going to be anything really good to put on the screen anytime soon, but I probably will do a video showing the progress on that as I work on it. So that will take a while to put together, because I'm just going to make little segments every so often as I work on it, and then put together the video once it's done. This is the final large project I have on the go at the moment. It's planned to eventually go all the way down to bedrock, with the final width determined by that. The end project will then be a bit of a village dug into the sides of the pyramid. I've got designs in my head for that, so the lighting blocks will all be removed as this gets nearer to completion. I'm hoping to do a bit of a video or two on the construction of that village, but I won't be doing videos of the digging of the hole, because I get the feeling that will get quite boring quite quickly. So that's all the projects that actually have anything to show at the moment. I'm hoping to have some more exciting projects started soon, because the list of projects that I'm collecting materials for is quite a bit more sizable than the projects that are currently doing anything, and then there will be various videos coming out on this channel of each project as it develops. So hopefully, if you stay tuned to the channel, there will be much more content in the coming weeks as I actually get started on making progress with these projects, rather than just having the odd higgledy-piggledy arrangement of half-completed ideas. So I hope to see you soon with another video that actually has some exciting content going on, and not just another quick tour around a server.